So how can a business owner effectively balance reinvesting profits into the business versus dealing with financial goals on the personal side? So to me, I think this is a big one kind of in relation to this farm family. You know, mom and dad are maybe looking to get out over the course of the next few years. They want to increase that time in Arizona. Child is looking to, you know, maybe keep back some of those profits because, you know, he's got to feed his family, he needs to keep growing the business, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you kind of balance out, to me, what would be maybe competing goals here from two different parties that are involved in this business?
Yes, and this is where things can be tricky, and this is what takes time when we talk about doing planning and it taking multiple meetings and sometimes years.
Okay.
This is where communication, especially for farm families, becomes so key.
Okay.
Because you have to have that open conversation of mom and dad going, look, we didn't leave the farm or take a holiday for 25 years or 35 years or whatever it is. This is really important to us. We really want to do X, Y, and Z. And they need to be on the same page about that. And then the child that's taking it over is going, well, you know, I want to modernize, I want to do things the new way, I want to double the land.
Right.
Whatever it is. And talking about, well, how do we make both work? Because especially in a farm, most times I see there isn't a huge amount of off-farm cash assets to fund retirement.
Right.
They're using the farm and the ongoing operation of the children or child and their new family taking it over to fund mom and dad's retirement.
For sure.
And depending on the size, this is when I find a lot of times the conversation starts coming in. Do we need to move from a partnership to should we look at a more formal type structure of an incorporation?
Okay.
Or is there going to be a separate farm partnership started over here that is the son and their families, and assets over time are sold from mom and dad over,
Gotcha.
so that is funding Arizona.
Gotcha.
Or whatever. Right?
Sure.
Because that is always going to be a multi-year process.
Correct.
Actually, truly, probably a multi-decade process.
I would agree.
So it's starting to have those talks. And as I find farms are pretty good at it, like they naturally talk about what a farm has meant to the family, what the goals are. It is usually, you know, I believe a lot of times what I see is that intergenerational legacy is so important and so key, and something that they are all extremely proud of, that working together to make that happen is one of the hallmarks of why farms there are so many Central Alberta over 100-year farms.
For sure.
Is because, you know, working on those transitions. We've just, you know, had the good fortune over the last 20 years of the values of things going up so much,
Right.
that it is now having to bring in, you know, us as experts to make sure that, you know, a lot of times the family knows what they want to do and what the intent is.
Sure.
Now we just have to make sure that technically we can make that happen in the way that they're intending.
Right.
Because there can be a loss of translation between what Revenue Canada wants to see and what they want to see. So it's just making sure that we're doing that in conjunction and working together so that the end result is what everyone's looking for, and knowing that it's going to take some compromise, both from what the son and their family wants to do for an extension standpoint, and mom and dad are going like, it's been great, but I want a holiday, and how do we make that work?
Right.
And it's going to be different every year, and that's okay.
For sure.